Well, hello, my soul friends. It's Victoria. Take a breath with me. We are at the end of 2024. How you feeling? How you doing? I have a lot to say about the new moon in Capricorn happening on December 30th at 2:27 Pacific time, p.m. 2:27 p.m. Pacific time. And I'm all out of sorts, but I'm feeling the stirrings of this new moon in Capricorn, preparing us to build a solid foundation underneath us, to weather whatever storms may come in 2025. And there's going to be a lot of change. So we're going to get grounded, we're going to get real, we're going to take personal responsibility for our well being, body, mind, and soul, and finances, and all of it. So, come join me for my intuitive take on what we may expect. It's always a possibility, it's not absolute. It's like I'm watching the astrological weather. It may rain, it may be sunny and bright. And it also, how you move and navigate your life through whatever is, that's up to you. So, thanks for being with me. Let's just jump in. First of all, I just want to say, how did this year feel for you? I mean, at first, it felt both for me like walking through mud, being tossed around in the air, like a lot of twists and turns and plot changes and intensity and pressure. Um, Personally, I was growing through a lot, just so much. And now at the end of the year here, I feel like I'm catching my breath. And I think, yes, even though it's not technically the new year in astrology, the new year is in spring, spring equinox, and it is the Gregorian calendar, man-made map we follow to follow a time. But really, it doesn't follow the cycles that we follow as souls, as nature, right? As souls having a human experience. So let's do this just at the top here. And by the way, this is my last video for the new year, for this year. Until next, for this year, this is my last video. And it is the last lunation cycle, obviously. It's right here at the end of the year. Last new moon of 2024. But let's pause and close your eyes and allow an image to form for what 2024 was like for you. Breathe into your body, get that communication from your body. What was 2024 like for you? Just allow whatever image to form. Trust it. Trust it. So I'll share my imagery. It was more imagery. This is spontaneous for me too. I had an image of looking at a storm outside, windows closed. And this may be for me and it may be for what's coming, since I'm dialed in to talk about this new moon in Capricorn. But it was storming outside, and then the storm passed and I opened the window. So yeah, this last year for me was stormy, emotionally stormy, a lot of changes, a lot of letting go, a lot of looking at wounds to harvest my gifts, which I'm inviting you to do with this new moon. And I also am going to try to get a redo on my end of the year recap meditation for you. I am preparing to leave to Cabo on the 1st. Well, yeah, teaching at a women's retreat, the first ever Let Your Soul Shine women's retreat. And it's with a friend of mine, Andrea. It's been her dream to have women's retreats in Cabo, and so she invited me to do the transformational work. And I'm excited, and I'm also a little nervous because I haven't taught live like this in a long time, or in person for 7 days. So send me some of your prayers. Feel a little rusty, but I think that also, I'm sharing that because I think it ties in with where we're going for the new year. But first we have to sit with the new moon in Capricorn and see what it has to teach us. Okay? So first of all, also, or second of all, since I've already started talking, I want to wish my Capricorn friends out there a happy season. I used to take just the birthday month. I take the whole season. So happy birthday season, Capricorns. Happy solar return. And let me know what your birth date is in the comments. And I want to wish you a personal happy new year. I think I celebrate the new year on my birthday. So that's your personal new year. Happy personal new year. Okay. So this is actually the second new moon of the month, and the second new moon of a month is called the black moon. I just think of it as like an extra knock on the door to that invitation to a new beginning. That's what a new moon is, when the sun and the moon are conjunct. Sun in Capricorn, moon in Capricorn, and this is at 9 degrees of Capricorn, by the way. So as I go through the possibilities, you might want to pull up your natal chart on astro.com or one of the free apps and look at where 9 degrees of Capricorn is in your personal chart. That is where you're being invited by the archetypal expression of Capricorn to build a foundation, to take responsibility in that area of your life, and to map out, the course of direction you're going to be going for the new moon into the new year, and for the 6-month cycle until we reach the full moon of Capricorn. I think it's in July. So, yeah. And if you are going to look at your chart along with listening to me, let me know where it's happening, what house it's happening, and I'd be happy to give you my feedback on that when I see that. Okay? All right. So, yeah, this is kind of like, a reality check, a time to really think about what you need to build and also release. We need to be on solid foundation. That means empowered beliefs, not our wound story, but our empowered beliefs to build up what we envisioned for our lives and for the world we share. Very important. And, I'm not saying I'm not a resolution person at the end of the year. What do I resolve for the next year? I'm a prepare to receive your blessings kind of gal. And preparing, especially with this new moon in Capricorn, is about checking your structures, checking your routines, your patterns, your foundation, in all areas of your life, not just where the moon is going to be in your chart, but in all areas, to root into things that are going to hold you in the new year. We have a lot of changes, and I'll just touch on that briefly. We have a lot of major planets shifting in next year. Pluto is now in Aquarius, so we already feel the invitation to liberate ourselves, to liberate the world. And we had to go backwards a little bit with Pluto one more time in Capricorn just before the American election. And we see there we kind of went backward into, is it backwards? Feel free to ever always not correct, but remind me of the correct word if I use the wrong word. I tend to think really quickly and visually. So I either say the wrong word or I skip like a bunch of words. I hope you can stay with me. But we are going to get a front row, get your popcorn ready, get your tissue box ready to watch this unfolding last performance of the patriarchy up close and, personal. And I'm laughing, but I'm also my heart just aches when I think of the possibilities of what may be coming for people who are going to be affected by what's coming. And yet I trust the unfolding of the world and our personal lives and our collective world we share, and the personal evolutionary possibilities and potential that comes, and the evolution from where we are to what is possible still. Okay. I wasn't going to go there, but I just came. Oh, well, I got to follow. So, yeah, these two bookends. Oh, I didn't say this yet. Okay. We have 2 new moons in this last month of 2024. But in 2024, we had a new moon in Capricorn in January, and we have a new moon in Capricorn in December. So these bookends of New moon in Capricorn. Again, another indicator that we're really being called to personal responsibility, creating an inner stability for ourselves, taking responsibility for our own lives, and our, coming up with a plan of action that no matter what happens in the world, you're going to be okay, right? So, and Capricorns are really, really good at that, being prepared. Uh, they're planners, they're leaders. I may as well just jump into the qualities that we get to borrow from Capricorn. By the way, I know this very well as I have a Capricorn rising. Let me know if you have Sun, Moon, or rising in Capricorn, or Saturn conjunct Sun. Could be another, signature of Capricorn, or Sun in 10th house. So, very familiar with the having to learn things the hard way. I remember years ago, I was late to work and I lost my keys. And this really happened. I think I was just newly on my spiritual path. I was, I think, in my 20s or 30s. And I'm rushing around. I'm like just being so hard on myself. Capricorn signature. This is the wounded side of Capricorn. Being very, very hard on yourself. I still get that. People will say, you're so hard on yourself. Yes, we expect a lot of ourselves, Capricorn, right? So I literally heard, sit down, in my head. Sit down, as I'm just like freaking out. So I sit down and I'm like, what is this? And I hear, do you want to keep doing it the hard way? Or do you want to do it an easier way? And I was like, what? There's an easier way? I didn't know. And I'm like, I'll take door number 2, easy way, right? And all of a sudden, I had this flush of just calm in my body. And then I had an image in my mind of where my keys were. This is, I'm pretty intuitive, and these don't happen that often, but these, like, just in the moment when I need it. And it was at a place I would never have thought to look. My keys had fallen behind the back wheel of my car in the garage. I run down there. Sure enough, that's where the keys are. So I'm not saying things have to be hard. I'm saying that we do the hard things with ease, maybe. We face what is with trust and faith, right? So especially, we just went through a pretty chaotic year, yeah? And so this is inviting us to be more self-reliant, to focus on our purpose, our soul mission, how we can contribute something to build something new. So let's talk a little bit more about, so I like to make the distinctions of archetypes. My distinction, since I love to follow the path of the wounded healer, is there's 2 energies with each sign. There's the empowered or gifted side of the sign, or the wounded sign. Some may say shadow with wounds, right? So Capricorns are very, I love Capricorns. I have to make peace with my Capricorn rising because, I have not only Capricorn rising, but Saturn in my first house, which is a double whammy, right? So I can be kind of melancholy, kind of Saturnian. Capricorn is connected to Saturn, the taskmaster, the lesson bringer, the not yet until you've mastered what you were meant to learn, right? Any Capricorns relate to that? So the archetype of Capricorn is the builder. Capricorns like to construct, or the archetypes of their lives, and if they're empowered in a helpful way to others, if they're in a wounded place, in a controlling way, trying to make sure everybody's on board with the same plan, right? They're leaders. They've got incredible ethic, like work ethic, strong, committed, determined, not going to give up. Capricorn is connected to the goat, the mountain goat, and in Greek mythology or Greek astrology, it was the sea goat, both a land animal and able to move through the water. But I always think about the goat climbing up the hill when I think about Capricorn. Slowly, methodically, you might slip back a little bit during Capricorn season or as Capricorns, but you're still on the mountain and you still are headed to the top, right? And they don't give up. So there's the energy of, oh, by the way, this leader energy of being able to see what needs to get done and doing it, and the wounded would be too controlling of others, right? Capricorns are very realistic, pragmatic, grounded in reality, and maybe sometimes too much, where they forget to play and enjoy the journey, right? I know, like sometimes I have to remind myself, because yeah, I'm always wanting to learn and grow and be on purpose. And is it purposeful? Sometimes when I'm watching movies with my husband, I'll say that, what am I learning? Is there anything, I'm not going to learn anything from this. That's Capricorn energy. They want to make sure that what they're doing is purposeful and moving in the direction of where they desire, right? And Capricorns can be the traditionalists. They hold that line of values and customs and traditions, and they're wisdom keepers too. I think a lot of Capricorns, what I find in charts, when I look at someone's chart, there's significant Capricorn, a moon, sun, or rising, or where Saturn is placed, they can feel like old souls, like they've been here over and over and over again, because they have such deep wisdom. Capricorns are old when they're younger and lighten up as they learn to say, I'm here to play and learn too. I don't have to do it the hard way, right? I can do it with ease and grace. And so Capricorns tend to age in reverse. They're like the Benjamin Buttons, right? They start getting younger as they get older. And that's a beautiful gift to them, because trust me, from my own experience, and Capricorns chime in and tell me if you relate to this, we push ourselves pretty hard. Our expectations for self are pretty high. And that driver of being purposeful and needing to contribute something that is significant to the world we share, the contribution is such an important thing with Capricorns. So, but you can, I always had, what helps me is to remind myself is that, I always say pace with grace, and that's mountain goat energy, right? Like they're slow, methodical, and there's no there. And if we could see this life unfolding as, we're not in control of that. There's creators in control of the unfolding. It's what we do with what is, and what we contribute from where we are, no matter what that is, that's enough. That's sufficient. Okay. All right. So let's get back to the new moon and some of the, oh wait, I had a couple more things. Sorry. I had a couple more notes as I went down. And I touched on it. So hard workers, good ethics. The wounded side of that is workaholic. Not knowing when is to say enough. I've done enough. For Capricorn, this is an affirmation I used to say for myself all the time. I feel it's connected to the Capricorn energy. You are enough. I'll say it to you during this Capricorn season. You are enough. You do enough. May you have enough, and may you recognize you are enough. Okay, that's Capricorn energy. Also, again, being hard, critical, super critical. Capricorn energy can see what's not right, wants so much to contribute a way that's better. Okay, and I will admit this is true. There's a little stubbornness, a little resistance to change, because Capricorns like to do what works. If something's working, if it's not, what's that old saying? If it's not broken, don't fix it. But I think even Capricorns, as we move into 2025, recognize there's a lot to fix. And so there's a lot to do, and there's a lot to contribute. This is for all of us, right? Okay, so let me go here to back up to my notes up here. I had a quote I wanted to share that really meant something important. Oh, let me go back over here. Sorry, I'm on the wrong page. Literally getting on the right page for ourselves in the new year is important. One thing I would say, again, if you do resolutions, that's awesome. It's a good time, the end of the year, to reflect, but it's more about the vision you hold for yourself and others. There's some aspects with this new moon that really invite us to that. So let me go over the aspects really quick. Okay, so first of all, there is a conjunction to Pallas Athena, an asteroid that is, I think it's really interesting that Pallas Athena, or Athena, is right there with the sun and the moon. It represents independence and a warrior spirit and freedom and fighting for justice. And it's connected to wisdom. So she's right there with the sun and the moon lining us up for the next year to be our own personal warrior for justice and freedom and independence, and trusting your wisdom and your knowledge, right? And knowing, like, discerning what battles to fight, right? And I know we kind of push back. We don't like to feel like we have to fight or engage in that way. So maybe let's swap that out for where you want to assert your energy, your contribution for our collective unfolding, okay? So then we have Saturn in Pisces. Well, this is leading up to the new moon. Saturn has been opposite Jupiter, and so you may have felt this. I'm sorry, it's not opposite. It's a square. This contracting, expanding. Yeah, super excited and like that's not going to work. Contracting, expanding, but it's also kind of like, I've been saying this for a long time now, probably since 2020. We're going through rebirthing cycles. That's like, birthing, right? Contractions, expansion, contraction, expansion. We are birthing in something new. Will it happen in 2025? I don't know. Will it happen in my lifetime? I hope so. But we are certainly shedding the old and trying to emerge the new. And we're doing the cha-cha with old ways. I'm tired of that dance, aren't you? We're really, really lined up to birth in new ways that connect to all, serve humanity in innovative ways. And I'm excited about that. But I'm wondering if you felt that. And it might have felt draining, this back and forth. Like, it's go. No, I can't yet. I'm not ready. Capricorn energy can really bring up those places where we've told ourselves or believe the myth, the lie, that we're not ready or not good enough or not prepared. That's for me. You're prepared for this retreat. You've been doing this for 27 years. So you may have felt that, and let me know. Comment with anything that you go, yeah, that really fits. Thank you, Victoria. I do these videos just to offer something that I have that may be helpful to you. That's my great hope. So, okay, then this is the doozy here on this new moon. We have Mars. Mars is opposite Pluto. We've had this going on for a while. It's normally a short aspect, like 5 to 6 days, but because Mars has been in retrograde, it's like a 6 months journey that we're going to be feeling. Again, birthing. Mars in retrograde, reviewing where we put our energy, our focus, what we're giving to, and it being in retrograde is maybe another, for me, I know I've just felt off my game, more tired, more like everything is taking longer than it needs to kind of feeling. And then with this opposition from Pluto, it can bring some intensity. And again, if you're like me with Capricorn energy, we already have enough intensity. We already put a lot of pressure on ourselves. So it can feel really pressurizing, but collectively too. We're like being in the pressure cooker and of what's not working, where we are not where we want to be, and we feel stuck and we want to move forward. But it's really building up. So when you feel pressured, ground yourself. Remember, Capricorn is an earth sign. Ground yourself. Remember, you are of nature, and nature unfolds in unpredictable ways and also in slow and methodical ways that we don't, it's like, why isn't this happening yet? But so we can feel that pressure, do something with that pressure, take a kickboxing class, stomp your feet, dance to really intense music, move that energy out so it's not really causing, well, it can cause conflict and cause irritability and fighting with others. It can feel like a power struggle. It can feel like a power struggle within yourself. The old you versus the new you you're trying to emerge. Do it this way. No, I don't want to do it that way anymore. And this kind of, tug of war is the word inside, right? Anybody relating to that? Okay. So and then also Chiron is going direct. He's been retrograde since July 26th. which means that since July 26th to December 29th, we had an invitation to review our wounds. And I know a lot of old wounds came up for me that I was surprised by. Like, I've been doing a lot of inner work my whole life, it feels like. And I was surprised. I was like, wow. And almost like new perspective. So, because Chiron's in Aries, showing you a new path, right? Or something you didn't see that was holding you back from being in your wholeness, and to expand into your own unique, beautiful soul being or identity too, because Aries is connected to the identity. And so, have you been reviewing it, or have you had your nose rubbed at an old issue that it's time to now, I call it, harvest the gifts? Yep, that happened. That wound happened. That situation happened. Hopefully, you've been compassionately witnessing yourself, or had compassionate witnessing from a therapist or a coach or a good friend, because we need that. Like, I always say this, when people victim shame, it's not that people don't want to move from victimhood or being a victim. If they were victimized, they just haven't found the route, and they haven't been, this is the key, I think, compassionately witnessed at the deepest, darkest level of their wounds. That is freedom from the wound. That frees the person from being the victim to the victor, to now gathering what they learned and letting that be your, what I call, personal soul medicine, right? That could be another thing you could do at this end of the year. Where did you feel wounded, hurt by someone or life? And where was that strengthening you, building you? And that reminds me, I wanted to talk about that, going right into this, which is good. Building from where we've been wounded. This quote, I'm going to shift it a little bit, but I love it. I'll say the quote first, and then I'll do my little, remodel of it, which is Capricorn G, remodeling. So a successful person is one who can lay a firm foundation, which is what we're being called to do, with the bricks that others threw at him or her. Anybody throw any bricks at you this last year? I felt some. But I'm going to change that. And that's from David Brinkley. So I'm going to change it a little bit to say a successful person is one who can lay a firm foundation from any and all the bricks that life has thrown you. Okay? And I imagine you've had a lot, have you? We all are. We're all in growing times, right? So where you have felt broken, either emotionally or spiritually or financially or somewhere in your life, this is where I believe you are being strengthened. You are being prepared. Where you've learned painful lessons is your rich wisdom. I like to say that lessons learned is wisdom earned. Good job. You earned a lot of wisdom. Tell me about it. What have you learned that you now have, or I call it doing research. Sometimes we spend a lot of time in research of what's not working to figure out we're worth so much more than that, right? So maybe your research is completing and you're starting to feel strengthened. It's kind of like, like when you're doing weightlifting, and you're literally breaking down material in your bones, and Capricorn is connected to bones, the foundation of the body. You're breaking down the fibers of your bones to strengthen them, right? Or your muscles too. But Capricorn's connected to bones. But so the hard work, resisting against something and then pushing and building, Capricorn. So what have you been building over this last year through the hard stuff? And now you can pause and claim your strengths and gifts. I'm going to guide you through this in a meditation. Hopefully I'll get to that today or tomorrow. So it may be done before the new year, or maybe just around the new year, but something that you can do. But I'm telling you right now, this is in the meditation. This is what the invitation is, to harvest the gifts. What strengths have you been cultivating through all the hard stuff? The things you didn't want to do, the things that were unexpected, that were just heart-shattering, heartbreaking, and you thought, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. but you grew through it. Makes me tear up for all the people out there. And if you're in the middle of a struggle right now, I want you to remember a time when in the past you were in a hard time and you grew through that. And think about the strengths that were cultivated then, because you're cultivating some right now. Hard times are growing times. Hard times prepare us for our blessings. I'm not saying they're the cause, but they can be directed towards, like I always say to my clients, use this phrase to guide you. How is this working for me? Or how is this an answer to prayer? Or how is this preparing me for my blessings? Hard times are growing times. You're growing through something big. I see you. I feel you. You got this. Reach for support if you need it. I'd be happy to walk alongside of you on your journey. And also, I will say at this time, I won't be able to do this until I return from my workshop, but I'm still doing the 20-minute consults if you want one. If you've had a 20-minute consult with me, please do comment in the comments so other people get a sense of what that's like. If you've had a chart reading from me, comment if you feel comfortable letting people know what that's like. If you've had sessions with me and it doesn't feel like, I understand confidentiality and I don't want you to break your confidentiality, or, maybe you worked with me years ago, just make a comment about what that is, or send me a private testimonial. I love those. Okay. All right. So we've done our weightlifting. We've been, breaking down our bones in order to grow stronger. And we've been being pushed against obstacles, or been, like knocking on doors that haven't been opening. And really, that's been hard too. So I feel this new moon is going to show us where the obstacles have been, and also going to reveal to us new ways. This is a new moon. We set new intentions. We find the new ways, fresh start in some ways. So take a deep breath whenever you need it. And maybe this is what's coming to me right now. Let's claim together collectively the hard stuff of this year that we've grown so much that's going to support us in the new year. So congratulations, good job. And I'd like to know what your personal strengths are that you can harvest and carry with you into the new year. Okay, I think that's all I have for you. I hope that this video is supportive to you. I've got big changes happening in the new year, as we all do. Like I was touching on the planets shifting. Saturn and Neptune are going to be moving into Aries next year. We're going to have Uranus finally moving out of Taurus, moving into Gemini next year. So lots of big changes and kind of new energy to dance with, to create with, to co-create with, to I think that's going to feel more freeing, but also can feel confusing because we're going to have to learn a new way of being to be with the new possibilities. But we can do it. We can do this. All right. Peace be with you, my soul friend. Whatever you are growing through, my heart and soul and prayers are with you. Take good care until next time. Bye-bye.